Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2017 LMS Summer Split. We got some Week 7, Day 4 action coming at you right now. It's going to be Hong Kong Attitude going up against Machi 17. 17 around the middle of the pack, Hong Kong Attitude a little bit lower down the table, but still looking to make this a very competitive matchup, and it should be. I've been liking what I've seen a little bit recently from Hong Kong Attitude. Definitely a lot of potential. Mission and Riris specifically putting on some impressive performances. Riris on that Jace, able to put a lot of pressure onto the top side of the map. Machi 17, of course, looking to work their way up the standings a little bit. They definitely have a lot of potential as a team. See if they can bring it together, take this series. The bands so far coming out, Talia, Cassiopeia, and Zac on the blue side. So taking away two mid laners there from Apex, some power picks. Talia very strong in the mid lane right now. Just able to keep, anytime you're able to push in the wave pretty much 27 and then make very heavy roam plays, it's gonna do you wonders, especially in competitive play when you can orchestrate some complex strategies and coordinate with your team a lot better. The Oriana, Kassadin, and Caitlyn ban from the side of M17, so 4 mid lane bans already in the first phase. Of course, Caitlyn Zac being banned out, no surprise there, and it is going to be the Kalista first pick from Hong Kong Attitude. Some different priorities on the first picks. We see the Elise sometimes when that's open. Kalista, obviously. We've seen a lot of Thresh first picks as well. So we'll see how the Kalista one pays off. I do like the Kalista first pick. It opens up a lot of opportunities and a lot of different team comps that you can work with. You can go for the snowball. You can go for the team fighting. It's really wide open for Hong Kong Attitude. M17 is going to lock down the Corki and the Thresh. Corki, interestingly, being highly prioritized. With all these mid lane bans, though, it makes sense. You want to lock down a decent one for yourself, so it will be the Corki and the Thresh for Dreamer, trying to make those plays. The response from Hong Kong Attitude is the Gragas jungle and the Syndra mid, so looking to really bully out that lane. Jarvan being hovered here for 3Z, might take that to the top lane. Could be a jungle Jarvan, it's always possible. Most likely going to be top lane, though, adding a bit more engage to go along with the Thresh. And we go into phase 2 of the bans, and as I mentioned not too long ago, Riris has a very good Jace, and he will not get to play it. It get banned out by M17, so they definitely don't want him to be on a carry type pick as of yet. Gemini locking in that Gragas. I like the Gragas pick. I think it's a very strong jungler. Offers a lot to the table. You got some engage, you got some disengage. It can have decent early game pressure. We'll see what Hong Kong Attitude decide to round out that comp with. Meanwhile, still got these bans going on. Braum taken away from the side of Machi 17. So they want to make sure Thresh can get the plays through. They don't want to get blocked up too much. Tahm Kench still available, though, as a fringe pick, maybe, if they want to look to protect their carries a little bit more. Could be the Rakan as well. Alistar been paired up with Kalista a lot. We'll see what Hong Kong Attitude decided to pick there. The bans for Hong Kong Attitude in the second phase were Elise and Tristana, so Elise actually getting through pretty late here, but they will take it away just in case it is a what you would expect a top lane Jarvan, and they want to make sure they ban away the most powerful jungler left. Tristana also taken away from D, so wanting to take away that sieging power that Machi 17 was possibly trying to do. The Corki and Tristana combo is actually pretty popular. Can kind of just work to take the lanes down eventually, slowly get the split push going and work on your siege. Offers very high siege. Corki has the poke, Tristana brings the tower damage. Not that Corki doesn't have a lot of tower damage. But that will be denied for them for now. The picks coming out of Hong Kong Attitude are going to be the Rumble, or the Gnar, sorry, and the Blitzcrank. So it's going to be the Kalista Blitzcrank lane, actually. So they're not going defensive, they're going offensive, hook for hook. I like that coming out of Hong Kong Attitude. It is no secret what they're trying to do with this team compositions. It's all about team fighting right now for Hong Kong Attitude. They get in there, they use the Syndra stun, and the follow-up engage coming from the Riris and Gemini. They got a lot of ways to get in these fights and start it up. Hong Kong Attitude are going to be looking to take those. Meanwhile, on the side of Machi 17, they locked in the Rumble, and they last picked the Jhin as the AD carry. That is a lot of CC in the bot lane. Machi 17 should actually have an advantage in this lane, as long as they can play around the Blitzcrank hook. The problem is, a lot of professional Blitzcranks are actually very good at holding onto that hook and keeping pressure. So this may actually be a very contestable bot lane for both of these sides. We'll see who gets the push advantage down there. Could look to see those junglers make an appearance, and it is actually the jungle Jarvan. So they decide to throw the Rumble up in the top lane. He's going to have the early push advantage on the Gnar. We will see the coaches here come onto your screen in a second, shake hands. Just looking at these awesome icons. Two of the best team icons in the game, you gotta say. That dragon, it's got a lot of swag, and that is a very cute little mascot Machi's got. So you see the team comps on your screen right there. We'll take one last look. We'll hop on in Summoner's Rift, game 1 here. Very exciting matchup, actually. Both of these teams showing they can be very explosive. See the starts here. Coming out pretty standard from both sides. It's going to be the Raptor to red, most likely. 3Z helping out a bit on the Rumble with the leash, so he'll be a little bit later to lane. He should get the push on eventually, though. See where these junglers decide to put their attention. First look, this top lane matchup will be relatively important, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some jungle attention in the top side. But there is a lot of CC in the bottom lane for both of these teams, especially when Kalista starts to hit that level 6. So maybe expect more early lane pressure towards the top side of the map for these two junglers, trying to get their respective top laners going, because if the Rumble can actually start to get rolling here, it makes it very hard for the Gnar to then group up and do these team fights, especially if he's set too far behind. That hook actually does not land. Kaiwing gets hooked up himself. Nice deadly flourish. Actually forces the heal out of Unified, keeping his support safe. Don't know if it was necessary or not. The Ignite is onto the side of Dreamer, so you got to be careful. You always want to heal early against the lane with Ignite, because if you drop too low and that you get ignited, it almost takes away your heal opportunity. Taizan's going to go ahead and grab up his blue buff. So double buffs on both of these champions. As you can see, they're just trading scuttles right now. Scuttle crabs are never safe, fortunately for them. Is notably, you have to look at the mid lane here. Getting this Syndra going for Hong Kong Attitude is actually somewhat important. I mean, Syndra is always going to have a pretty good laning phase, but if you can actually get her rolling, you do need to snowball a little bit with this Hong Kong Attitude team comp, I feel like. If you let the game go on a bit too long, M17 has a lot of range in their team composition. They might be able to just play and toy with Hong Kong Attitude if they're not careful, so maybe look for a little bit more early aggression coming from the side of Hong Kong Attitude compared to M17, who will maybe wait a little bit more till the mid game. You can see when you get that curtain call and the equalizer, you can start to have a lot more options when it comes to engaging fights and poking people down. Corki, of course, does love to scale up. He's going to have no problem doing that. And Rumble, you know, there's a stigma on Rumble where a lot of people consider him more of an early mid-game champion, and then he falls off in the late game. But the changes that came to him recently actually did buff his late game considerably and nerfed his laning phase a little bit. So he actually does a very respectable damage in the late game. So not even really scared. Of course, they don't want to take it to late game. Nobody wants to take it to late game, really. Even if you have late game composition, you still don't want to fall into the trap of just waiting around and hoping for late game, because when you do, you just let the opposition kind of do whatever they want for the most part. And if they're a decent enough team, they should be able to start to snowball, and if you can risk giving up the lead, it's very possible you can risk just getting completely snowballed on and lose the game, as we see some early game aggression. Bot side here, Gemini going to back off for now. Looks like M17 had a good read on that one. They're going to be careful. They don't have vision on the bot side, but that is precisely why they are playing so passively. They know Gemini could very well be in the area, and their jungler was off the map. So always something you want to keep in mind, especially even when you're in solo queue games, especially when you're in solo queue games. If your jungler is off the map and you don't have good vision, just think about playing a bit more safe. Or if it's something like your jungler is ganking the top side of the map and you don't see their jungler at all, you might want to just at least put a ward down or something, because most likely he'll be trying to make a play onto you, most likely. So take a look at this mid lane matchup. It's actually quite interesting. There is kill potential definitely on the side of the Syndra, but the reason is because she can push in and she can start getting the poke down. But when you push in, you open yourself up to gank opportunities, which is exactly what Taizan tried to do there. Force the flash and the heal, actually. I'm not sure the heal was necessary, but he wanted to get out of range of that knockup. Good early pressure there from Taizan, trying to slow down the Syndra snowball. See on the bot side, Kaiwing, as I mentioned, This lane can go either way. Nice hook actually landing. He might go down for this one. Nice CC train coming through. Gemini with a flash knockup. First blood to the side of Hong Kong Attitude. Utilizing this Blitzcrank pick very nicely. D not quite respecting the hook and flashing away from it early. It's hard when you're up against a Blitzcrank because he can play so passive for so long and all of a sudden just run at you and you're kind of like, I was farming, just leave me alone. And then you get hooked and then you die. And it's a pretty sad story. That is a very crucial first blood for the son of Hong Kong Attitude. They definitely do want to snowball this composition, start grouping up for these fights. And when you start to group up for the fights, you want a lead, ideally. If you don't have one, it makes things a bit more dicey. But a 500 gold lead for the side of Hong Kong Attitude, which makes sense. That's going to be the first blood, chipping into that one. And we see a lot of Blitzcranks, a lot of notable good Blitzcrank players say that, you know, off that first base, you always want to try to look for a roam with Blitzcrank. Catch people off guard. A lot of people don't respect it. It's a pretty easy way to get some cheeky early kills. He still has a flash on the Blitzcrank as well. No cleanse coming from the side of Apex. It's actually the heal. So, you know, a stun into a hook is a very real possibility. He's going to return to the bot lane for now. Unified. He's going to need his support's help here in this lane up. A lot of CC and kill potential on the other side as well. Unified definitely has to respect the Thresh Jhin combo. Like I mentioned earlier on, there's definitely both of these lanes have opportunity to win this matchup, but if the Blitzcrank can play it intelligently and either get really good hooks or hold on to it and keep the pressure up, it can work very well in their favor. See the gank coming down onto Dreamer. Actually gets popped by Mission's ult. Jeez, so much damage. He might go down for the trade. He does. Ignite drops. He took a few too many tower hits. He is going to pay the ultimate price with his life. So a trade kill going down, but that is a kill onto the Syndra, which is definitely worth it for them. They do trade over the Thresh kill, and Corki's able to free farm here a little bit, but Gemini showed up for the response. It doesn't look like Taizan's going to get much off of Gemini showing mid there. Maybe a blue buff, cheeky little blue buff steal. No, 3Z's not quite feeling confident enough for that one. He's going to get a ward down, though. So that, even though it was 1-for-1, definitely worth it for the side of Hong Kong Attitude. Gemini holding it up here is going to be getting some solo XP and lane farm, so he's going to be pretty happy about that. And Taizan not really able to do much while he's off the map. Setting up maybe for an Ocean Drake take, though. At least getting the vision down. Ocean Dragon going to be a little bit better for the side of Hong Kong Attitude because they have more beefy of a front line. So they're going to want those regen stats a little bit more. Nice pink ward from Riris. Taking back control of the blue buff. The Hex Drinker, notably early for Apex, that double AP jungle and mid synergy. He's going to be respecting that. He's going to slow down his Trinity Force power spike, though, as you can see. He's only got the Sapphire Crystal. Working towards that one. It'll be a little bit slower than usual, but he wants to make sure that he doesn't let Syndra run away with this matchup too much. See the pressure that's being put on by this Blitzcrank in the bot lane. Very good into picks like the Jhin, who is extremely immobile. Can't really do much when a Blitzcrank's running at your face, unfortunately. M17 trying to take control of this bottom side. Looking to shut down Gemini, who will be visiting this bot lane quite frequently. They really want to work to protect Dreamer and D in this bot side right now. As well as they have vested interest in stopping Mission from snowballing the Syndra. They know he doesn't have flash up again. He does have heal, though. Gemini's going to say, oh, you can put all the wards you want, but I'm just going to go through lane. And here comes the ult coming. Kaiwing looking for the knockup. He gets it. No flashes on the side of M17. They're in so much trouble. Looking for the Lantern escape. Not going to work. And the hook lands. Dreamer now gets knocked up. He's going to be visiting his AD carry in the world of the gray screen. And that is a double kill for Unified on the Kalista. This is exactly what you want to see from the side of Hong Kong Attitude. Snowballing the right matchups. You want to have a lead on that Kalista coming out of the laning phase, and that is exactly what they have. A lead and then some. 2 kills up, as well as 20 CS. A very healthy lead. See Apex here with the blue buff, able to do a nice bit of spam. Mission has to be careful because his jungler was on the bot side. Gemini now roaming to the mid lane, though. Going to be feeling a little bit better to push up. Still has to be careful. Does not have any vision of the sides here. Jarvan could have snuck in very easily. which he has, but he's going to go ahead and recall now. He has a feeling Mission won't be stepping aggressive anytime soon. Machi17 want to start working on getting a bit of more forward vision so they can work to take down these towers nice and slowly. Also, the Dragon, an objective they will like to contest at some point. They do have pretty good objective control with the Callista, of course. Mission on that Syndra does wonders when it comes to zoning M17 off. The stun range is quite long, and the Blitzcrank as well. You don't want to be face-checking into this Hong Kong Attitude team composition. Go ahead and pick up the Scuttle Crab. We'll see if Hong Kong Attitude want to start this Dragon up early. They definitely want to fight at this point of the game. So it wouldn't be surprising to see that a hook is going to land onto the Jarvan. He gets stunned up completely. Mission popping him where he stands. Lantern is going to do nothing there. That is another kill to the side of Hong Kong Attitude. 5-1 now. Pulled themselves up to a 2,000 gold lead just under 12 minutes into this one. That might just be the Ocean Drake started up. They're looking to get even more picks here, zoning them off the tower. Hong Kong Attitude trying to take as much as they can. They're a bit more patient. They maybe even could have got a dive there. They're going to play it safe, just take the tower. And taking towers is very crucial, actually, for Hong Kong Attitude's team composition, because that means they can get even deeper vision and control these fights even more. They can get the fights that they want. It's pretty hard for M17 to counter them. Rivers and 3Z on this top side, just pretty much on an island so far this game. Junglers did not decide to put pressure there. They were a bit busy trying to secure the bot side. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Gemini was placing very heavy pressure on the mid and bot side trying to get these lanes going, and Taizan was trying his best to respond. Instead of responding with some top side pressure, he decided to try to negate it. Has not worked out so far. Gemini has found his way in. Mission was able to get the roam off as well. Getting a bit of mid-priority, as you usually do on Syndra. Now that Corki has a few items to his name, though, he's got the wave clear a bit more beefy, so he's able to keep it pushed in as much as he can. Wants to definitely prevent the Cinder from getting any more roams off. Unfortunately for him, the bot lane has been now taken down, so this Blitzcrank is free to roam all over the place. He does get spotted out, I believe, by the ward, which is why 3Z backs off. And this is the lane swap being initiated by Hong Kong Attitude. They want to start knocking down this top turret. All the objectives they want now are on the top side, so look for them to get vision control of this red side jungle. Work to either take the top tower or even the Rift Herald if they see the opportunity. First tower of the game, of course, going over to Hong Kong Attitude, so they're not too afraid to give the tempo advantage for now to the bot side. As you can see, this tower will drop a lot quicker, but they should be able to trade it. Question is, are M17 going to go for the inner tower in the bot lane here? Definitely have that opportunity. They're very ahead in the push. See if Hong Kong Attitude decide to continue with the trade. They're definitely zoning off 3Z a bit better. As you can see, Nara in the bot lane is actually getting some XP. Doing some decent damage as well. The Mega Gnar coming up, they don't feel confident to go in for the dive, so they will back off. Trade of towers, that's pretty much it. Riris does have the advantage in the fact that he was able to get some XP there. Wave is going to crash into 3Z, so he's able to pick up a little bit of CS for himself, but that's going to be the positive objective trade to Hong Kong Attitude, because they're able to pick up the Rift Herald, which is why you want to put your strong side of the map where all the objectives are. You're able to do stuff like this, and pretty much no contention is going to be coming through because of all the Ren stacks. You can count them there. It's about just 500 million Ren stacks. That's going to be getting dropped. They're going to give that one over to Unified, and they may just look to pop this Rift Herald in the mid lane pretty soon to drop the last outer tower and then really start to take control of this map. Choke M17 out vision-wise. They're looking to make a play onto Riris, though. He's got to be a bit careful. He has flash up. There's a lot of CC coming from the side of M17. Looks like they're just responding for the wave. Don't want to risk it. They do have very good vision of that bot side, though. As you can see, strong sides of the map being traded. Now Mission looking for the stun onto 3Z. Might be a bit caught out here. Flash body slam's going to lock him up, and that's going to be the kill. Kind of wasting Flash there when he was already dead. Unfortunately for 3Z, extending too far. He has no vision of that top side. You really can't be pushing out that far when there's two members missing on the map. Bit of a misstep from the top laner of Machi17 there. 2 towers to 1, 6 kills to 1. Huge gold lead in favor of Hong Kong Attitude. Just under 16 minutes into this game, they will start to look to take down this middle tower. They have a very good siege team composition. They have the Blitzcrank. They have the Syndra, who is going to be offering a lot of... if they can get that stun hook combo, it's going to be very hard for Machi17 to defend this. They have okay wave clear. If you factor in the Corki, Jin does not have great wave clear on his own. Corki, but he has to... Unfortunately for Corki, he has to actually get in range to get hooked or stunned to get in for the wave clear. So, see what Hong Kong Attitude decide to do here. Looking like they're trying to reestablish some vision control. Spot out 3Z if he tries to roam down for the equalizer play. Looks like it's actually going to call for Mission to go to the top side for now. That's a package forward here. Riris has to be a little bit careful. He should be able to get under tower in a way. Not enough damage coming through from Apex right now. Still doesn't have the Trinity Force in. They notice the pressure from the bot side, and it's going to be a pretty easy Rift Herald spawn. There's not much M17 can do about this one unless they want to engage a fight, and I'm not sure that they do. TP is going to be up from Riris, so it will be a 5v5. It's going to be the tower, and the hook lands onto 3Z. Remember, he has no flash because he used it, and again, he gets obliterated. Mission on this Syndra popping off, and that's going to be another tier 2 tower going down, this time in the mid lane. As you can see on the bot side, Riris even able to zone off Taizan. No engage coming from that Jarvan. M17 have just fallen so far behind in the laning phase, they're not able to get any of the gauges off that they want. HKA just going to roam up to the top side. They have the wave pushing. Of course, the Syndra you saw, she preemptively went up there to get it pushing so that if a situation like this occurred, you can easily rotate topside. And M17 have to be wary of the hook. They will get obliterated if they get caught out. Nice stun landing. There's the cast knocking them back. There's going to be a bit of zone work here from Hong Kong Attitude. They figure they have taken enough for this round, so they're going to back off for now. They got a lot of money to spend, I'm sure. Want to refresh on some of that vision too. Cloud Drake will be spawning in about a minute. Not that they will be particularly interested in that, but it's, you know, you usually see teams picking up Cloud Drakes when there's nothing better to do at the moment. And that is a possibility. Baron won't be spawning for another 2 minutes. They might grab this one up. They're going to want to maintain vision control of that top side, though. As you can see, M17 doing a little bit of work to get some of this back. Taizan trying his best here. But the play most likely will come in from Hong Kong Attitude. You're going to see Riris might want to group up because he doesn't have the TP, but especially when he has the TP up, he's going to look to just pressure this bot lane. And then the rest of Hong Kong Attitude will just push these lanes up, move into the red side jungle of M17, get the wards down, and then they'll look to rotate between the top tower and the Baron, threaten kind of both at the same time. And M17 is going to have big problems if they can't get some sort of vision control, because face checking into this Hong Kong Attitude team comp is a nightmare. It will be the free objective take here. Hong Kong Attitude using that Callista, they know they can take it fast enough. They're not going to lose too much pressure anywhere else. Corki, however, doing his best to put pressure on the top side. He's going to take advantage of this dragon take and probably knock down that turret. Riris on this Gnar, pressuring the bot side. You can see the respect coming down from 3Z. He's like, we're getting a free push on the top side. I wonder where the rest of them are. They're actually making a call here. Since there's so much pressure on the top side from Machi17, they're just going to avert all their attention to this bot tower and probably pick it up as a trade. And an outer tower for an inner tower, that's a good trade for Hong Kong Attitude. Still 1 for 1, which is okay for Machi17. When you're behind, you do actually want to go just for the even trades. But the tower disparity as far as where it's located is actually not even at all. Here comes reinforcements from Hong Kong Attitude. They've regrouped in their base, they've restocked on vision, and the 2-item power spike, crucially, is hitting for most of these champions. You got the Syndra with 2 items, you got the Callista with 2 items. They are going to be the main factors in these team fights. Of course, Gemini has been putting in work on this Gragas, actually. A lot of good flash body slams, locking up crucial kills to get the snowball rolling. Machi17 looking to catch them off guard a little bit here. The hook does land on the Blitzcrank. This might be a desperation engage. Of course, the Fate's Call is still available. No flag and drag for Taizan, so he doesn't have any mobility right now besides that flash. They will not call to go all in, though. They weren't quite grouped up enough. But now that they have proven that they are the dominant force, Machi17 going to back off and respect it. Now that they got the chunk onto Taizan, they can move in and retake vision control of this area. TP almost up for Riris. They do have to be a bit careful, though. TP advantage for the moment is on the side of M17. So they don't want to fully engage on the team fight just yet. They want to wait till that's up on Riris, unless they find one that they can get a free kill off of. They're going to look to push in this mid lane and top side. Maybe even just take this top tower for free, depending on how much Machi 17 want to contest it. Rear's actually picking up that blue buff steal, which is pretty sad to see. Apex, as you can see, bit exasperated on the camera. And they were trying so hard to get the blue buff, they might just lose the top tower off this one. It is the Dreamer Jungle combo coming to the top side trying to defend this one, and the tower is so low already, they're not going to bother. That is the last inner tower going down for M17. The only towers they have left are the base towers, and this is going to be very simple, I have a feeling, for Hong Kong Attitude. They have a lot of choices here. Once they establish vision control of this top side, they can keep these waves pushed in, and they can just either look for picks, which their team comp is very good at, or they can turn on the Baron, which their team comp is also pretty good at with the Callista. Syndra going to be doing a healthy amount of damage as well, since she's got that blue buff. Machi 17 going to rush in here, making sure the Baron doesn't get started up. They realize that Hong Kong Attitude probably recalled. They have a few more items to buy, and they want to restock on that vision. So they took the opportunity to move in. Riris does have TP now. As you can see, M17 needed to group his 5 there just to be able to push in and grab some semblance of vision control. Fortunately for them, they're going to have to back off, and this is going to be Hong Kong Attitude's chance now to move on in here. M17 are going to have to find a bit of a desperation fight, a miracle fight even. They do have decent engage tools. Unfortunately, they're so far behind now. The only fight they would want to engage is if they can get a good chunk out onto somebody, maybe catch somebody out. They do have the possibility of that. Of course, the Equalizer can offer a lot of zoning potential. So if they are able to kind of usher a few members of Hong Kong Attitude in the right position, they could go in with the Jarvan Cataclysm, look for the 80 carries to dump in as much damage as possible. It's hard when you're this far behind, though, to find, you try to imagine a situation where they would win a fight. The only one I can imagine right now is if Hong Kong Attitude absolutely botch their engage somehow, or do some sort of Baron throw. Even Baron throwing is pretty hard when you have a Callista, so as long as they can patiently play this one out, this should be pretty free for Hong Kong Attitude. They have so many options right now. They don't even need to start out the Baron, honestly. The top lane matchup has shifted now in the favor of Gnar. He's 2 levels up. 3Z has to give up so much pressure, and he might just get solo killed here. Riris looking for it. Deadly Flourish is going to land. 3Z so low, but Riris doing a little bit of a 3v1, and that will be the Baron take here coming from the side of Hong Kong Attitude. The top lane Gnar absolutely putting in work. Jarvan is on this side. There's the cast to knock him back a little bit early, you might think. Baron was still hovering around half HP. Curtain Call opens up. Actually, the Syndra all getting burned on Taizan as well. A little bit of a strange play. He goes in for the Desperation Steal. It's not going to happen. That one gets secured by the billion Ren stacks. Nice hook landing, though, onto Unified. He's going to flash away, and he will get out. So Baron buff going over to the side of Hong Kong Attitude, who do have to give over 1 kill, but it's still 100% worth it for them. Riris was key in making that play happen. As you can see, all of the members of Machi 17 were just showing up as it goes down, thanks to Riris' incredible pressure on the top side. D now in a little bit of trouble. He gets the Lantern out, though. He'll be just fine. Now that the Baron buff is on Hong Kong Attitude now, it'll be pushing in all the 3 of these lanes at once, most likely. No TP for the side of Riris, so maybe they might group up a little bit more. They do have very good 5v5. As we take a look at this replay, 3Z stepping a bit too far forward. I think he was looking for some vision onto Riris to make sure he wasn't TPing in or something like that. Riris going very deep to try to get that kill. Does not quite land it. But with 3 people on the top side, it's a pretty easy call from HKA to just start up this Baron. And with the Callista, as long as you don't misplay it. They tried to misplay it as best as they could, throwing out the extremely early cask and then the very odd Syndra ult that did not actually that much damage because Jarvan was full HP. But they ended up securing it, and they only had to give over 1. Could have been a lot more cleanly played. I feel like they could have even won that team fight if they had saved those tools. But, nevertheless, they have a huge advantage here. They got the Baron buff pushing down the mid lane. It will be the 4-1 split push, so they want to keep somewhat grouped. The hook is not going to land on a Dreamer, just barely. M17 struggling to know what to do right now. They really don't have many options, to be quite honest. It seems like that Baron play was almost their best opportunity, but it's almost possible to get a steal away from the Callista. She has that many stacks in it. They're just waiting for the next wave here. This tower should go down on this one. They have so much engage and threat. M17 can't even stand close. As you can see, D forced to flash away there. Here comes the engage, though. Machi 17 looking for the desperation team fight. They're going to have to pull off a miracle here, though. They do get the kill onto Unified, which is key. Unfortunately, Hong Kong Attitude are pretty healthy on the rest of their map. Curtain Call is going to open up. Here comes the engage from Riris. Gets hooked up, though, very nicely. Doesn't get the ult off, crucially. Mission is able to pick up the kill on the Thresh. Hong Kong Attitude finally pick up that inhibitor tower. They give over a few more kills than they would have wanted to. but it's still a 3-for-2 trade. Could have played that one a little bit more cleanly. Tower diving when M17 was still pretty healthy. Nevertheless, they break open the base. They still have Baron on a few members. I believe the Baron actually wore off now, so it's not too hard to walk in there and take that inhibitor, though, especially with this team composition. Ocean Drake is available. You might see them grab up that one. As we take a look at the replay, D flashes away, and then they kind of just stand a little bit too far close and get hit by all the engage tools of Machi17. I would have liked to see a little bit more kiting back. Cataclysm doing work there to lock down the Callisto, who had no summoner spells and was playing a little bit too far close. River's trying to get in on the re-engage, but a good job by Dreamer to keep him CC'd up. They pick up the tower. They do get trading kills. When they're this far ahead, literally 10k gold ahead, you would like to see them play the fights a little bit more cleanly, but still they get the job done at the end of the day. Ocean Drake's probably going to be taken here just by the Callista. They're going to have that for themselves to add even more potential to their siege. Probably going to look to pressure the inhibitor, and top side looks like Gnar is going for now. They may even just end up waiting for this next Baron. It makes it a lot easier to fight when you're pulling Machi17 away from their base. Puts Hong Kong Attitude in a better position. Inhibitor is exposed, and they do probably have the stronger 5v5 as long as they don't misuse their tools and underestimate Machi17's engage. Avoid the hook and don't get 3-man knocked up into a Cataclysm, and you should be just fine. As they're moving forward here, they're going to take advantage of the Mega Gnar. M17 going to respect that one. They don't want to walk in. And there's the first inhibitor of the game going down to Hong Kong Attitude. Now turning their attentions to the bot lane, it looks like. TP is basically up here for Riris, so you might see him roam up to the top to put pressure on both sides. He wants to be careful, though, that the rest of his team doesn't get engaged on. TP does take a little bit of time to channel. After those changes way back, so Riris might just hang around. There's a huge wave pushing in on the top side, so he doesn't even really have to go up there quite yet. See, they're moving in aggressively. Stun does not quite land. Gemini playing the front line. Hook goes wide. And Taizan on the engage actually looks for the Cataclysm, but this time Hong Kong Attitude play intelligently. They kite back. They absolutely obliterate Taizan. The re-engage comes out from Kaiwa and gets the knock up onto D. He gets exploded. Mission picks up that kill. Dreamer going down as well. M17 dropping like flies. Hong Kong Attitude establishing their dominance. Playing that one very cleanly. That is nice to see. They're going to pick up the second inhibitor. Not that it'll matter. The game will be over here. Nexus Tower is the only thing standing in the way. And they will go down very quickly. Game 1 is going to go over to Hong Kong Attitude. They draft a very strong 5v5 composition, get the early lane leads, and they are able to snowball it very impressively. M17 caught out a little bit there, not quite able to keep up with the lane pressure. Gemini doing a very good job on the Gragas, playing around that bot and mid side. That is just very well played. I'm excited to see Game 2 here. I want to see a bit, maybe easier of a composition to pull off from the side of M17. Looks like they struggled with that one. Or at least draft a few more winning lanes. They were a bit under pressure there, under siege. They gave up too many advantages early, and they paid for it. GG, well played to the side of Hong Kong Attitude.